Trevor Jones, aka War Machine, a stalwart of Champagne Wrestling, one of the originals of the company, a loyal worker, and a heavyweight colossal role on the years now, nothing but only one stage away from being a full-blown alcoholic. Broken promises, shattered dreams. War Machine had lived through every experience known to man. A wrestler who had given Champagne Wrestling so much should be top of the billing. An A-lister in his eyes, not some, has been whose job it was to put rookies over so they could get their pop by slaying the veteran wrestler. A job was a job, and bills had to be paid. When times were good, War Machine indulged in the lifestyle of popularity and fame, which led him down the road of a gambling addiction which overwhelmed the heavyweight wrestler. Gambling was War Machine's escape from the broken bones, scars, concussions, torn ligaments, and all the other ailments that marred his working profession. It was a distraction and a form of self-medication therapy. Horses were his bed of choice. In the height of War Machine's addiction, he would place as many as 10 bets a day for all sorts of money. Some high and some low amounts were handed over to the nearest bookie, as War Machine became entangled in a self-made web of despair. Right now, however, fast forward in time, War Machine was sitting in Croyton's Bar, located in Greenville Avenue, Dallas, Texas, a mere 10 minutes walk from the Omega Complex, where only 2 hours earlier War Machine found himself competing to a crowd of 15,000 fans in attendance. The weekly routine in terms of the road show put on by Champagne Wrestling every Friday night throughout the various states of Central and Western America. War Machine was on the second fight of the card, pitted against one of the upcoming stars of the company, Smoking Joe Bradley, who he had to make look good in a valiant losing effort. After 8 minutes of back-and-forth action inside the ropes, and even for a minute or two on the arena floor, the tussle ended with Smoking Joe Bradley hitting his aerial finishing move, Gunshot from Above, which led to a 3 count and rapturous applause from the boisterous fans in attendance. As War Machine made his way to the locker room, a quick glance back towards the ring, where everyone else in attendance was focused on, he could see Joe Bradley basking in the applause coming his way as he played up to the fans. Smoking Joe mounted the top rope on each corner of the 4-sided ring. Each time his fist pump into the air was met by an even larger pop by the audience, as he milked the limelight for all it was worth. "Get me out of here right now," was the voice screaming inside the head of War Machine, as he began to imagine the savory taste of beer hitting his lips, quench the rotten smell of corruption emanating from the 4-sided ring, a mere 50 yards from where he now stood. As War Machine trudged along the corridors in the hallway towards the locker room, War Machine hung his head and opted not to engage in conversation with fellow wrestlers who wanted to applaud him on the show he had put on. Plug Smoking Joe. War Machine had a date to keep, and that date was with as many bottles of Lone Star beer he could consume in one night. After a quick change out of his leotard, War Machine flung his belongings into a gear bag and made his way out a private exit at the back of the arena, solely designated for performers. War Machine had no interest in the rest of the fight card. That was of little concern to him, and why should he? What had that snake in the grass, Ted Cash, ever done for him in the last decade or so? Nothing but only talk, a whole load of spoof, and like a Egypt. War Machine had bought it every time, so the days of War Machine being a model employee were now a distant memory.